The helicopter didn't land. It couldn't. The city below was already a graveyard, burning rooftops, shattered streets, and smoke rising like a warning to anyone foolish enough to enter. 30 seconds, the pilot shouted. Sergeant Elena Carter stood near the edge, gripping the rope tightly. Wind tore against her uniform, but her eyes stayed locked on the ground below. Calm, focused, ready. This was what she was trained for. But something in her gut felt wrong. Geo. One by one, the squad dropped. Elena went last. The moment her boots hit the ground, she rolled forward and snapped her rifle up. Perimeter, she ordered. The team spread out instantly. No talking, just signals. Professional. The silence hit her first. It wasn't normal. Even in war zones there were sounds, distant gunfire, movement, something alive. But here, nothing. Just wind and the faint crackle of burning debris. "This place is dead," one soldier whispered. Elena didn't respond. Her eyes were scanning rooftops, windows, alleyways. Searching. Waiting. They moved deeper into the city. Each step echoed louder than it should have. Every shadow felt like it was watching. Then, a small metallic click. Elena froze. Her heart skipped. She turned sharply toward the sound. "Don't move," she said, low but firm. Too late. Boom. The ground exploded beneath them. Fire erupted into the sky. Shockwaves tore through the street. A soldier screamed as he was thrown backward. Elena ducked instinctively, but the blast still hit her hard, knocking her off balance. Her ears rang violently. And then, gunfire. From every direction. Rooftops, windows, alleys. They were surrounded. "Ambush, take cover," the commander shouted. Bullets slammed into walls, sending concrete flying. Elena slid behind a broken vehicle and returned fire immediately. One target down. Another down. She didn't miss. Left side collapsing, someone yelled. "Sniper on the roof," another voice shouted. Chaos. Pure chaos. Fall back," the commander ordered. But the enemy had already closed in. They knew exactly where the squad would go. It was a trap. A perfect one. Another explosion. Closer this time. Too close. Elena turned. And the world shattered. The blast threw her across the street. Her body slammed into concrete, air knocked out of her lungs. Her helmet cracked against the ground. Vision blurred. Sound faded. Darkness crept in. Silence. A faint ringing pulled her back. Her eyes opened slowly. Everything was gray. Smoke floated through the air like ghosts. "Elena, respond," a broken voice crackled faintly in her ear. She reached for her radio with shaking hands. "This is Carter, I'm here, I'm alive," she said urgently. "Report the voice cut out. Static. Then nothing. "No, come on. She hit the radio. Dead. Elena forced herself to sit up. Pain shot through her arm, but she ignored it. She had to move. Had to find her team. She stood up slowly. And froze. The street was empty. Completely empty. The armored vehicle gone. Her squad. Gone. Only fire remained. Burning debris. Broken weapons. And silence. Her breathing became uneven. "No, this isn't real." She walked forward, scanning desperately. "Jackson, Ruiz, anybody?" No answer. For the first time in years. Sergeant Elena Carter felt something she hadn't felt in combat before. Helplessness. She clenched her fists. No. Her voice hardened. No, not like this. Hours passed. She moved through the ruins carefully, her training taking over. Check corners. Stay low. Avoid open areas. Survive. Every sound mattered now. A falling brick. Distant footsteps. Wind brushing against metal. Anything could mean death. She checked her gear. Ammo half magazine. Water barely enough for a day. Radio useless. Backup. None. I'm on my own, she whispered. As the sun disappeared, the city changed. Darkness took over. And with it, the hunters came out. Elena found a partially destroyed building and slipped inside. It was unstable but hidden. Good enough. She blocked the entrance with debris and moved to a corner where she could see everything. Her breathing slowed. Her mind sharpened. Think Carter. Then, footsteps. Outside. She froze instantly. Voices followed. Enemy soldiers. They were here, I know it. Search every building. They can't be far. Elena's grip tightened on her weapon. Her pulse rose. They were hunting survivors. And she was the last one. She slowly switched to her knife. Gunfire would give her away. Silence was survival. The door creaked open. A soldier stepped inside. Flashlight cutting through the darkness. Elena pressed herself against the wall behind him. Invisible. Silent. Deadly. The light moved across the room. Closer. Closer. Her heartbeat thundered. One mistake. And it was over. The soldier took another step. He was right in front of her now. And then, she moved. In one fluid motion, she grabbed him from behind. Her hand covered his mouth. Her blade struck fast. Precise. Lethal. The soldier went still instantly. No scream. No struggle. Elena held him up for a second, then slowly lowered him to the ground. She exhaled quietly. Controlled. Focused. She searched his body quickly. Extra ammo. A better rifle. A working radio. Her eyes sharpened. This changes things. Outside, voices continued. They're all dead. Yeah, no one survives that explosion. Elena stopped. A slow smile appeared. Cold. Dangerous. They think I'm dead. She whispered. She picked up her rifle. Checked the chamber. Loaded. Ready. Good. Because now, she had the advantage. She moved toward the shadows, disappearing into the darkness like she was never there. No longer a lost soldier. No longer prey. Now, she was something else. A ghost in the war zone. And one by one, she would make them regret leaving her behind. The city no longer felt empty. Now it felt alive. Alive with enemies and one unseen predator. Elena Carter moved across the rooftops like a shadow. Silent, precise, invisible. The jacket she took from the enemy soldier helped her blend in from a distance, but she knew better. One close look, and the disguise would fail. So she didn't rely on it. She relied on skill. Below her, a patrol of 4 enemy soldiers moved cautiously through the street. Weapons ready. Voices low. They said one survived. Impossible, that blast, no one walks away from that. Elena lay flat on the rooftop, watching them through a cracked scope. Her breathing slowed. One inhale. One exhale. Her finger rested on the trigger. Pick your shots. The last man in the line paused to light a cigarette. Big mistake. A suppressed shot cut through the air. The soldier dropped instantly. What was that? The others spun around, confused. Elena didn't wait. Second shot. Another body fell. Sniper, take cover. Too late. Third shot. Missed. The bullet chipped the wall instead. Elena's eyes narrowed. Now they knew. Gunfire exploded upward toward her position. Bullets ripped across the rooftop, forcing her to roll back. She grabbed her rifle and sprinted across the roof line. Move, move, one of them shouted below. They were scattering, trying to flank her. Smart. Elena smirked slightly. Good, makes it more interesting. She reached the edge of the building and didn't hesitate. She jumped. Landing hard on a lower rooftop, she rolled and kept moving. No pause, no hesitation. Behind her, boots slammed onto the roof she just left. They're fast, she muttered. She ducked into a stairwell and moved down quickly, her footsteps controlled and light. As she reached the ground floor, she paused. Closed her eyes. Listened. 2 enemies entered the building. Slow, careful. Hunting her. Elena slipped into a side room and positioned herself behind the door. Knife in hand. Breathing steady. The first soldier walked past. The second followed. Elena struck. She pulled the second soldier inside silently and ended him in seconds. Before the first could react, she stepped out. 2 quick shots. Silence again. She exhaled. 3 more down. But this wasn't victory. This was survival. She grabbed a map from one of the bodies. Worn, marked. Important. Her eyes scanned it quickly. Enemy checkpoints. Supply routes. Communication towers. Then she saw it. A small marking on the edge of the city. Extraction zone. Her heartbeat picked up. If she could reach that point, she might have a chance. But the route to it. Blocked. Heavy enemy presence. Elena folded the map slowly. No easy way out. Then her expression changed. A new idea forming. Fine. She loaded her weapon again. I'll make my own way. Night deepened. And with it, Elena became more dangerous. She moved through narrow alleys, setting traps as she went. Tripwires made from broken cables. Grenades rigged behind doors. Glass scattered in dark corners. Every step she took turned the city into a battlefield she controlled. Hours later, it began. An explosion echoed in the distance. Then another. Then screams. They're triggering the traps, she whispered. From a rooftop, she watched chaos unfold. Enemy soldiers running in confusion. Shouting orders. Firing at shadows. They weren't hunting anymore. They were reacting. And that meant they were losing control. Elena took advantage. She picked off targets one by one. Quick shots. Clean kills. No wasted movement. Each bullet counted. Each move calculated. But then, something changed. A loud engine roared in the distance. Elena turned. Her eyes widened slightly. Armored vehicles. More troops. Heavily armed. Reinforcements. This wasn't a patrol anymore. This was a full search operation. They're taking this seriously now. A voice echoed through loudspeakers. Attention, remain where you are. You are surrounded. Elena almost laughed. Surrounded. She looked around at the dark city. The traps. The shadows. No. She whispered coldly, "You're the ones trapped." But deep down, she knew the truth. This just became much harder. Ammo running low. Enemies increasing. No backup. And now, they knew she was alive. Elena checked her rifle. Only a few rounds left. She looked toward the direction of the extraction point. Far. Dangerous. Almost impossible. But it was her only chance. She took a deep breath. Time to move. As she stepped forward, a sudden red laser dot appeared on her chest. She froze. Sniper. From where? Her eyes scanned quickly. Too late. Bang. The shot rang out. Elena dropped instantly. The world spun. Pain exploded through her side. She hit the ground hard, struggling to breathe. Footsteps approached. Heavy, confident. A shadow loomed over her. "Well, look what we found," a cold voice said. Elena tried to move, but her body refused. Her vision blurred. End of the line, soldier. The enemy raised his weapon. Elena's eyes slowly closed. Was this it? Was this how it ended? Or was she not done yet? The world faded in and out like a broken signal. Sound came first. Distant voices, heavy boots, metal clanking. Then pain. Sharp burning alive. Elena Carter's eyes snapped open. But she didn't move. Didn't react. Didn't breathe too fast. Training. Is she alive? A voice close. Barely, that shot should have killed her. Orders are to bring her in. Elena kept her eyes half closed, vision blurred just enough to fake unconsciousness. Good. They wanted her alive. That meant one thing. She still had value. And as long as she had value, she had time. Two soldiers lifted her roughly. Pain shot through her side like fire, but she didn't make a sound. Not even a flinch. Strange, one of them muttered. What? She took out almost an entire patrol alone. A pause. Yeah, this one's dangerous. Elena almost smiled. They carried her outside. Cold night air hit her face. Engines roared nearby. Voices echoed everywhere. She was being taken to a command post. Heavily guarded. Well lit. Structured. Good. More targets. More opportunities. They threw her into the back of a vehicle. Metal floor, no restraints. Careless. Rookies. The vehicle started moving. Elena slowly opened her eyes just enough to scan. Two soldiers inside with her. One across. One near the door. Both armed. Relaxed. Mistake. She waited. Counted seconds. Measured movement. The road turned rough. The vehicle bounced slightly. Perfect. In one sudden motion, Elena exploded into action. She grabbed the nearest soldier's rifle, yanked it sideways, and slammed her elbow into his throat. Before the second could react, she kicked his knee hard. A sick crack echoed. He screamed, but she didn't let him finish. She grabbed his weapon and fired twice. Silence. The driver shouted from the front. What's happening back there? Elena moved instantly. She slammed the metal divider open and fired forward. The vehicle swerved violently. Crash. Everything flipped. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. The world spun again. And then, stillness. Elena groaned, pulling herself out of the wreckage. Blood dripped from her side. Her strength fading. But she was alive. She staggered to her feet, looked around. Wrecked vehicle, dead soldiers, smoke rising, but not alone. Distant voices, more troops. They heard the crash. Move, she whispered to herself. Move now. She grabbed what she could, ammo, a pistol, a knife, and stumbled into the shadows. Every step hurt. Every breath burned. But stopping meant death. She reached a narrow alley and collapsed behind a broken wall. Her vision blurred again. No. She clenched her teeth. Not now, I'm not done. Her hand pressed against her wound. Warm blood soaked through her fingers. She needed to stop the bleeding. Now. She tore a piece of cloth from her sleeve and tied it tightly around her side. Pain shot through her body, but the bleeding slowed. Footsteps echoed nearby. They went this way. Spread out. They were close. Too close. Elena looked around desperately. Think. Her eyes landed on a broken pipe. Gas leaking. An idea. Dangerous. Risky. Perfect. She pulled out a grenade. Set the pin halfway. Timed. Then she dragged a dead body into the alley entrance. Positioned it. Like bait. And disappeared deeper into the shadows. Seconds passed. Footsteps approached. I see something. One soldier moved closer. Another followed. What happened here? Boom. The explosion tore through the alley. Fire blasted outward. Shockwaves slammed into the walls. Screams filled the air. Elena didn't wait. She pushed forward, using the chaos again. But something felt wrong. Too easy. Too quiet afterward. She slowed down. Listened. Nothing. Then, a click. Behind her. Elena froze. Well done. A calm, cold voice said. She turned slowly. A man stepped out of the shadows. Not a regular soldier. Different uniform. Different presence. Leader. Elite. He held a gun steady, aimed directly at her head. You've caused us a lot of trouble. Elena's grip tightened on her weapon. But she didn't raise it. Not yet. You're not like the others, he continued. Most would have died hours ago. Elena's voice was low. Most aren't me. A faint smile appeared on his face. I can see that. Silence stretched between them. Two hunters. Face to face. You're injured, surrounded, outnumbered. He tilted his head slightly. And yet you keep fighting. Elena didn't answer. Why? A beat. Then, because I'm not dying here. The man studied her. Interested. Good answer. Then, he pulled the trigger. Click. No bullet. Elena didn't hesitate. She fired instantly. Bang. The man dodged. Too fast. Her shot missed. He disappeared back into the shadows. Gone. Elena's breathing grew heavier. Who was that? She whispered. No answer. Only silence. But one thing was clear now. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was war. And she had just met her most dangerous enemy yet. The silence after the gunshot felt heavier than the explosion before it. Elena Carter stood frozen for just a second, but in war, a second was everything. He was gone, like a shadow that never existed. But she knew better. That wasn't luck, she whispered. That was skill. Her grip tightened on the rifle. Her breathing slowed again. Focus returned. He wasn't just another enemy. He was hunting her, just like she was hunting them. A dangerous game had begun. Alina moved again, deeper into the ruined city. But now every step felt different. Measured, careful, watched. She reached a higher vantage point, a collapsed tower overlooking the streets. From there, she could see it clearly. The extraction zone. Faint lights blinking in the distance. A small open area beyond the destroyed blocks. Freedom. But between her and that point, an army. Dozens of soldiers. Vehicles. Searchlights sweeping across the ruins. They locked it down, she muttered. And then she saw him, standing near one of the armored vehicles. Calm, still in control. The same man. Even from a distance, she could feel it. That presence. That confidence. He's running the operation. Alina crouched low, analyzing the field. Direct attack. Suicide. Stealth. Almost impossible. She was outnumbered. Outgunned. Wounded. But she wasn't out of options. Her eyes moved slowly across the area. Searching. Calculating. Then she saw it. Fuel barrels. Stacked near the vehicles. Carelessly placed. Her eyes sharpened. That's the way in. She checked her ammo. Almost nothing left. One chance. One move. No mistakes. She moved down from the tower, keeping to the shadows. Step by step. Breath by breath. The closer she got, the louder the noise became. Engines, voices, orders being shouted. But they weren't expecting an attack. Not from her. Not anymore. She reached a broken wall just outside the perimeter. Peeking through. She counted. 10, 15, maybe more. Her heartbeat slowed. Control the chaos. She pulled out her last grenade. Let's end this. She threw it toward the opposite side of the camp. BOOM. Instant chaos. Contact. Over there. All eyes turned away from her. Perfect. Alina moved. Fast, silent, deadly. She slipped into the camp, staying low. Avoiding light. Avoiding noise. 2 soldiers crossed her path. She didn't hesitate. 2 quick shots. Both dropped instantly. She kept moving. Closer to the fuel barrels. Closer to him. But then, a voice. Behind her. I was wondering when you'd show up. Alina froze. Slowly. She turned. He stood there. Just a few feet away. Gun raised. Eyes locked on hers. No escape. No distractions. Just them. I expected more from you, he said calmly. Alina raised her weapon slightly. I'm still here. A faint smile. Yes, you are. Silence again. You could have run, he continued. Tried to escape quietly. Alina's voice was cold. I don't run. He nodded. Clearly. A beat passed. Then, they both moved. Bang, bang. Gunfire echoed. Alina dove to the side as bullets tore past her. She rolled behind cover, returning fire instantly. He moved fast. Too fast. Using cover like a professional. This wasn't luck. This was experience. Alina changed position. Fired again. He dodged. Countered. The fight was even. But Alina's breathing grew heavier. Her wound was slowing her down. He noticed. You're losing strength. She ignored him. Moved again. But her foot slipped slightly. Just enough. He fired. The bullet grazed her shoulder. She fell hard, weapon sliding out of reach. Pain exploded through her body. He approached slowly, gun aimed. This is where it ends. Elena tried to move, but her body refused. Her vision blurred. But then, her eyes shifted slightly. The fuel barrels. Right behind him. A spark of determination ignited. "You're right," she whispered. He stepped closer. "It does end here." Elena's hand slowly moved, gripping the last thing she had. Her pistol. One bullet left. He saw the movement. Raised his weapon. Too late. Bang. The bullet didn't hit him. It hit the fuel barrel. For a split second. Silence. Then, BOOM. A massive explosion ripped through the camp. Fire erupted into the sky. Vehicles flipped. Soldiers thrown in every direction. The shockwave blasted Elena backward. Everything went black. A faint sound. A helicopter. Elena's eyes slowly opened. The sky above her was clear now. Smoke drifting away. Her body barely moved. But she was alive. Footsteps approached. Different this time. "Over here, we got her." Friendly voices. "Rescue." She tried to speak, but couldn't. As they lifted her onto a stretcher, her eyes slowly closed again. Mission complete. She survived. Not just survived. She won. Days later, Elena stood on a military base, bandaged but standing tall. The sun rose behind her. A soldier approached. "You took down their entire operation." She said nothing. "You were alone." Still silence. Finally, she spoke. "I wasn't alone." The soldier looked confused. Elena looked toward the horizon. "I had one thing with me the whole time." A pause. Refusal to lose. She walked forward. Stronger. Unbreakable. Because sometimes, the most dangerous soldier on the battlefield is the one who refuses to die. Fire the end.